What's next? What other regions we want to talk about? West Africa, Ebola more?
Briefly, a little bit on North Korea. So quite interestingly, yes, Kim Jong Un has not been seen in a while, and there's all sorts of talk on how that he's ill. Or that there's been some kind of a power grab, and nobody really knows, and he's been kind of absent for a while, and the North Korean leaders have been saying, oh, he's fine, but they also sent
dodging the question.
But he could be, he could have a major health problem, or I think there's a lot of infighting now. I don't think he doesn't quite have the grip on the country that his father or grandfather did, and it would be interesting if it turns out that he's either incapacitated. The rest of his family just...
Did they just lobotomize him and not tell us?
And that certainly could be... He could be at a point where he's a figurehead and he actually no longer has control. And in some ways that would be very convenient to have him as a figurehead and then have the powers that be behind the scenes kind of actually take control of the country. And it would be interesting. It's just we don't know which way they would go. It could be better. Yeah. Maybe if the reformists win, then that could be better with relationship with the South and the rest of the world. If the hardliners sort of take over, then that could potentially set up conflict in the future. So nobody knows which way it's going, but I certainly would like to see a change of some kind. And I never thought that little Kim could survive very long. I just think he didn't have the experience, and the economy and the society is so degraded that I just think there's a certain point where the regime is very, it's very close to collapse at some point. And the question is, how much is China willing to prop it up, and how much is South Korea willing to look the other way so it doesn't happen, because it would be definitely not in China's interest, and it would cause a lot of economic hardship in South Korea if they actually had to rebuild and try to feed all of those people.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, from the North Korean standpoint, domestically, there's a big issue with the peasants and the people and the lack of food and all that stuff, and lack of industry. Mm-hmm. But globally, internationally, other than a humanitarian, sort of...
It matters only because they have nuclear weapons. That's it.
That's basically what I was getting at. I mean, is this the only thing? I mean, obviously, we all want the best for the North Koreans. We want, people to be stable there, to have enough food to eat, and to have healthy ways of living. But from an international diplomatic political sense, they've got nuclear weapons. If there's an unstable government, or they can just fly off the handle at any point. Right. It all comes down to nuclear weapons. Yeah, it's basically what you're saying.
Either they'll launch, they could always threaten the South or Japan, or potentially sell them off to the highest bidder, to countries that don't have nukes. Like if Iran wanted to purchase a nuke, they could get one, I'm sure.